All right, so what do you get if you put somebody with my face, you know, I'm all right looking, right? Don't have the mouth aids, I don't have any acne or anything like that. And you put my head on somebody with a somewhat muscular, kind of anorexic body of vegetable police. Maybe that's the ideal vegan, I have no idea. Have I been watching Vegetable Police quite a bit? Yes, I have. I did want to talk about it though, because there is two different kinds of vegans out there, or two different kinds of examples of things that people are working on. I think that I'm one and he's one, and if you combine the strength and weaknesses, it's like alternate universes. If you combine the strength and weaknesses of the two of us, what do you get? Well, you get the thumbnail that I put on there. Now that body isn't mine. Somebody in the last one thought the body was mine. It was a 600 pounder. I'm not even 300. So quite a big difference. Anyway, Ryan, name's Ryan. It's a high carb regenerator. Welcome to my channel. Let's get started. Somebody yelling at somebody else. I wanted to talk about this actually. I wanted to talk about, there's two different things that happen when somebody's body's struggling. You either A, you get fat, which mine does, or you have some kind of other thing going on where you have weight, or you have, like, you know, acne. Some people get cancer, some people get other afflictions. It really depends on what your body's going to do, how it's built. If you read the mucusless diet, man, is that annoying. I don't know why people have dogs. I'm gonna lose a bunch of people now. Pretty sweet looking. But if you read the mucusless diet, there's two different types of people he talks about. I don't remember the names of either one of them, but you know, some people thrive on uric acid. I guess they get nobody down here filming themselves because I'm getting quite good looks here. So there's two different types of bodies, and I wanted to talk about that. So if you eat stuff that is clogging your body up, if you eat stuff that your body can't digest, if you eat stuff that's really high fat, if you eat, you know, the list goes on, you're either going to turn that into fat, water weight, inflammation, or you're going to turn that into something else. So he clearly has the ability to stay skinny, but when he eats stuff that his body really can't handle, he has, you know, that weird mouth stuff that he has. He's got acne all over. He's, you know, he's always talking about his gas. He's always talking about, you know, his different issues. And somebody like me, you know, I got the weight. And I wanted to talk about this because a lot of people think that I just jam food down my throat 24 hours a day, which actually couldn't be further from the truth. Some really cool house. I love this area. Actually, I struggle some days to even get myself to eat. And I was working with somebody for a little while. A litter. Normally I would pick it up, but I don't have any garbage can to put it in. I struggle to get myself to eat. I was working with, well, kind of DMing somebody who does nutrition stuff, and she got so fed up with me. She's like, you're always living in cortisol. And it might be true. Ugh, dogs. It might be true. You know, I just don't really feel like taking time to make food, so I just don't do it. So the people who are coming in here, well, you just need to eat less calories and blah, 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 it's just such nonsense. That's why I get so, you know, kind of attacky with my comments, if you guys had any idea. And that's another thing that I wanted to talk about. You know, a lot of fat people are scared to eat because they're scared of what people are going to say about them. So you'll see that they eat, you know, very little at gatherings, or unless it's, you know, the modern day oops, unless it's the modern day people who are, you know, really trying to get as fat as possible, you know, for the status quo, or, you know, for an agenda that's going on right now. But the people who genuinely don't like being overweight, generally, they won't eat a whole lot at gatherings. You'll see them like picking little here and there. They'll have maybe a little plate of something just so, you know, people think they're eating or whatever and don't ask questions. But then they get ravenously hungry and they eat whatever they can possibly find. And that's where the issues come in. You know, I'm not really into counting calories. I think it's an absolute waste of time. But if you're going to be eating a lot of fat, but even then, you know, if you watch Goldner talks about how you really can eat as much fat as you want to. You know, eat all the avocados you want to. I've actually done a video about that. So if you want to go see her say that, you know, go check that video out. Just type Goldner in my channel. But I don't think, I know the calorie thing doesn't matter. And why do I say that? I really want to break this down one more time, right? I'm going to refer to this video after this. At least the sun's down, so I look half decent in the lighting here. But one last time. In the mid-90s, I did keto. It worked for a little while because I was on ephedra. Once the ephedra wasn't really working anymore, or I had to take too much, it stopped working and I started gaining weight. I did it again from 99 to 2001 is when I really was on keto hardcore, monitored it like crazy. It worked for a certain amount of time and it stopped. That brought me to, this is last time I'm talking, maybe not, I'll probably talk about this again. But for people who are overweight, for people who think the keto works, really wanted to talk about this, like really wanted to drill this home. So 2001 is when I discovered that my endocrine system was jacked up. It wasn't working right. Thyroid was messed up. Testosterone was messed up. Everything was messed up. It's a pretty sweet area. I couldn't sleep. When I did sleep, it was tired no matter how much I slept. My libido wasn't that great. I was in my 20s. And you know, I was with my fiance at the time, so that wasn't great. Just nothing was working. No, I was always tired. Like always tired. And couldn't take it anymore. Went to the doctor. He told me at that time, ironically, this is the same doctor that died because of keto, told me that keto was the worst thing that I could do for myself, to come off keto, that I was going to have health issues, that I was going to, you know, always have health issues if I was on keto. And this is what doctors told us back in the day. But they stopped doing that. They got that money and they started really preaching keto. So now they preach keto. He actually died because of cancer from complications of keto. And another thing, something that made the hospital an extra 35 grand. And so anyway, so this, not the point. So I did start adding carbs back in, right? I ballooned up. So I freaked out, went on keto again. And this cycle kept on happening. And when I would add the carbohydrates in, my numbers would get better. I didn't know the reason that this was happening. I didn't know the reason this was happening at all. So my testosterone would go up, my thyroid would get better, I would sleep more, but I was ballooning up. I was getting so big, like huge. And that's when I really started having body image issues to some degree. I was still big, I was still lifting, I still could lift the house down. That's around the time when I added the carbs back in that I did the little over 800-pound squat. You know, and I, as a dare, I leg pressed the amount that my car at that time weighed, which was 2,012 pounds. So I was a monster. Everybody wants video. Nobody took video back in 2004. What were you gonna bring, this huge thing? Or are you gonna, you know, like, you know, the huge video camera with, you know, the VHS? No, nobody had that. So no, I don't have video of it. I wish I did. I really wish I did. I'd like to actually see it. So that kept going. The divorce happened, and I was a little all over the place at that point. I really wasn't trusting keto anymore, so I was just eating whatever the hell. I was eating whatever, ballooned up. So I started CECO again, started calorie counting again. I started buying the magazines again, the bodybuilding magazines, telling you to not eat a lot, exercise more, only eat protein, a little bit of fat, carbs are bad, and, you know, basically eat as little as humanly possible. Get ready for the competition. So I did it, and it worked. I was on 2, I think, fat burners at that point, both of them from Beverly International, which was always my favorite company, and it worked until it didn't. It worked to a certain point, and I'm like, man, I had to eat less, and it worked to a certain point, and I had to eat less. And then I got to a point where I couldn't do it anymore, and I was ravenous, just ravenous. I just ate everything that I possibly could. I have also talked about times back when I was with my ex-wife where I would be real regimented all week. You know, again, the Pyrex containers, I would have everything done on Sundays. Didn't have to think about what I was eating the entire week. I would just take that Pyrex out, warm it up if I wanted to, eat it. I was good. And almost every Saturday, we would go to the theater and we would go to some Italian restaurant. For whatever reason, that Italian restaurant, that's the stuff that I ate there, I would lose 5-ish pounds over the weekend. I would be constipated all week from my healthy diet, my CECO, my calories in, calories out, be healthy eating that all week, constipated, barely took a dump. And then I would go to, you know, we would go down to Little Italy. All the stuff that they made was imported from Italy, everything, you know, the olive oil, the food, everything was imported. And I would take, it's gonna be graphic. Damn, that is a rough trail. Woo. I'm not in the mood for that today. I would take the biggest dump you've ever seen in your life. I'm not lying to you when I say they actually hit me. There was so much in the bowl, it actually was touching me when I was out. After the weekend, after going to this Italian restaurant. So then I started thinking maybe I should add in the fat. That's pretty sweet. So I started thinking maybe I should add the fat into my diet. But it didn't have the same effect. It didn't have the same effect that it had at the Italian restaurant for whatever reason, even if I bought the olive oil from him. So I started getting more strict, started counting those calories even harder. I'm like, I gotta get this weight off. Nobody's gonna date me if I don't have weight off. Man, this is cool looking. You know, it's always the mindset that you had back in the day. Now it's like everybody wants the dad bod. But you know, you had this mindset of, if I'm not skinny, I'm not gonna get a chick. And so anything at all costs, I wanted to lose weight. So I kept digging farther and farther and farther. And this kind of brings us back into keto again, because I'm like, well, keto worked in 99 into 2001. I'll do it again. So I went real strict, but this time it didn't work at all. This time I got so sick. I smelled like ammonia all the time. I smelled terrible. I was puking up stomach acid in the middle of the night. I would literally wake up vomiting stomach acid. And I'm like, man, it's just something isn't right. Something isn't right. So I started kind of looking into this. YouTube was kind of coming around. I started looking into this, YouTube experts. And I'm like, you know, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try this vegan thing. This is 2009 into 2010. Kind of started trying it a little bit here and there, but I'm like, oh, vegans are weak. I better turn around. I'm actually in the middle of my DoorDash shift. And that's kind of how it started. I've told this story so many times, but the only time, and this is where I'm going to end it because this video is going to be like 30 fucking minutes long. The only time that I have ever lost significant amounts of weight is when I've eaten a lot of calories. I was eating 7,000 to 8,000 calories a day when I was raw. And the strangest part, the strangest thing that people say to you when you tell them that, and they're like, well, those aren't real calories. Calories matter, but those aren't real calories. Yeah, it's not real. And I'm like, that's like saying a pound of feathers weighs less than a pound of bricks. It's a stupid argument. You know, it makes absolutely no sense. But people say it all the time. Well, those aren't real calories, you know. Yeah, your body just, you can't digest raw food, you know, it can only digest cooked, so that's why, you know, starve yourself. Stupid comments, you know. It's getting to the point where a lot of the stuff I am going to just start getting off the, removing those comments, because you're just hurting other people. Hurt yourself if you feel the need, but nobody else needs it. And that's my story. Every time that I've lost significant amount of weight, I wasn't restricting at all. I wasn't even doing high carb. You know, I was doing mostly high carb, but I certainly was having my avocados. Another thing I wanted to talk about, I seen a vegetable police video where he was talking about the only two people to thrive on fruitarian is people who do a lot of sport or people who restrict. I think that's absolute bullshit. I was only working out half an hour every other day, 3 days a week, and weight was just catapulting off me. And everybody's like, well, why don't you go back to raw? I hated it. You come to a point where would you rather lose weight, or would you rather like hate everything that you're eating? Like, I don't mind doing it part of the day, which is where raw to 4 comes in handy. But all day, I mean, I was freezing all day. It could be 100 degrees outside, 90% humidity, and I was shivering. It is miserable. So I didn't want to do it anymore, and I came off of it. And I saw, you know, this guy McDougal, and I saw a Durian rider, and I'm like, I'm gonna try this. Now the weight doesn't come off as fast at all, but I have lost significant amounts of weight. I don't know what happened between 2016 and 17 other than what I've told you. I don't know why my endocrine system just went haywire. Sometimes, you know, I'll go get my blood test and it's perfect. Week later, I go to get my blood test and it's like all over the place. I don't know what's going on. So if you are somebody who's having issues losing weight, it is hormones. I don't care what you do. If you do your calories in, calories out, you are going to destroy your hormones. And you're gonna be in that rat loop or whatever, rat chase or rat race or whatever, the rest of your life. So if that's something you want, you know, have at it. If you want to listen to the commenters who have no videos, have no pictures of themselves, who are always the expert, have at it. Have at it. Last year when I did raw, lost 25 pounds in 1 month, but I hated it. I hated it. I was freezing. I was shivering every day. I was at that time I was talking to Jillian Berry like every day, and she was actually getting worried for me. I would talk to her on the phone, or you know, something like that, and I'd be shivering. You know, my teeth would be chattering. So there's got to be a happy medium. Anyway, this video is way longer than I wanted it to, but let the record be straight. And those who are telling me to do my research, I already did with myself. I didn't have to read somebody, and this is not me being mad. This is just like these comment warriors. It's like, get over yourself. Yeah, telling me to do my research. I already did with myself, not somebody else's paperwork. What you have to realize is that these people are not doing this to help you out. They're doing it to make money. And if they cure you, if they help you, and you're cured, there's no more money from you. So they don't want to do that. They want to tell you, you'll see progress on keto right away because you're poisoning yourself. You'll see progress pretty quick on Seco because you're starving yourself. And then you get stuck in this loop, and then you got these people in the comment section who are telling you to starve yourself, and everybody's like, oh, that makes sense. It doesn't work. 80 to 95% fail because it doesn't work. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes in my body. Got pictures. I've shown them many times. Anyway, I'm not mad. You got to stop listening to these people. And even my psyche, I actually, if I didn't have to sleep or eat, God, that would be beautiful. I don't really like doing either one, but I have to, so I do. So probably majority of the reason I haven't lost weight is actually because majority of the day I'm hungry, but I just don't feel like making food. And I just killed a mosquito. You're welcome. They act like it's free buffet. Just keep on taking second. But I don't think, I know the calorie thing doesn't matter. And why do I say that? So over the years, I have done the counting calories. I have done all that. And it has gotten me fatter and fatter and fatter. You know, I know I've talked about this, but people, you know, I don't know if they don't watch the videos, if they watch them but don't listen, or what happens. But back in maybe 2001, 2002, something like that, I actually went to Cleveland Clinic and I said, you know, I'm having all this kind of, man, am I getting blown out in this? Oh, I said, I'm having all these issues. I said, can you put me like a program together? And they said, yeah, you know. So I went there and they put together this, they tested out, they had me get on a treadmill and walk at a normal pace, and they had me do a couple other things with this breathing apparatus, and they calculated how many calories that I needed. And then they gave that to somebody and they created an exact menu plan and everything for me, a diet plan, dietitian type stuff, and I did it to the T. And I gained weight. And I went back and they're like, you're cheating. I'm like, I literally saw it by. I said, I cook everything. I put it in Pyrex containers. I do it all on Sunday. If I need to, I'll do another run on Wednesday. Don't buy anything else. I said, you can stop by my house anytime. Come see what's in there. I've even told Durian Rider that. So you can stop by anytime. I'm not doing this KFC that you're talking about. To the T. Gained weight. I talked about this in kind of both interviews with Georgie, and he's had the exact same thing. So what causes this? I don't know. You know, I've had I think his name is Joe Best. I was watching an interview with him that somebody sent me, and he's talking about once you hit a certain weight, it really doesn't seem to matter what you eat. You would keep gaining weight, or you just kind of stay there. But there's also the reverse of that. There's also this point of once you hit a certain weight, you can pretty much eat anything and you'll lose weight. And that's where I got in 2016. I got to the point where I really could eat whatever I wanted to. And I was. I mean, weight was just falling off like crazy. I was getting to the point where I couldn't keep clothes on anymore. Man, this sun. It was getting bad. And one of the women that I worked with, she saw that it was happening. And she started making me cookies. Now, I think she was flirting with me. Because she got really mad at me for leaving PA, and then she stopped talking to me. And then Sandy, naturally, because women compete with each other, Sandy was getting mad about this, so she started making cookies. And I was like eating entire meals of cookies, and I was still losing weight like crazy. But then when I came back here, I had a really long commute. And if you've watched my videos, you'll know I really don't like being in the car all that much, even though I do it for a living. I don't really like being in the car all that much. So it was stressing me out because I had a 90-mile each way commute. I was working a ton of hours. I was, you know, at the post office still. I was working a ton of hours. That was stressing me out. And my weight just ballooned. I wasn't really eating much. I would get up and I had so little time to get to work because I had to be 45 miles away, and my shift started at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I wasn't eating in the morning, and then I would eat a couple oranges on lunch, or on break, I mean. I was just having a bag of rice with some asparagus, really. And then at night, I would fork it down anything I could get because I hadn't eaten all day. And I go through that cycle quite a bit. You know, I'm going through it kind of not as bad now, but yesterday was bad. Yesterday was terrible. And this is why I want to coach people who are overweight, because I know a lot of us go through this. A lot of us think that we're eating. A lot of us are told that we're eating too much. It's just nonsense. So to recap, I have restricted in the 90s, gained weight. I restricted again in the 90s, gained weight. And that actually tanked my hormones. And that's when I started going to the doctor, and he put me on TRT when I was in my early 20s, and it actually didn't even take, because how tanked my testosterone had gotten, and how little they actually know that it's actually sugar that makes it. It's not anything else. You know, there is fat involved. It's made out of fat, but you need sugar to make, you know, to increase your testosterone. Sorry, I had to stop. Somebody started talking to me. Now, where was I? Oh, man, these dogs are everywhere. Hopefully you can actually hear me with all these dogs. So to recap, it's never worked. It has never worked. I talk about this with Georgie. I've talked about this. Anybody who's occupied a body that has the ability to get to these massive weights, the calorie thing, it just doesn't work. You know, it works. You know, you'll see these people, they starve themselves and they get down all this weight, and everybody's like, well, this is the, you know, this is what you got to do. You got to starve yourself. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be blown out again. Oh, terrible, terrible. You gotta starve yourself, you know. We've seen so-and-so do it. Meanwhile, you lose contact with so-and-so, and so-and-so blows up to 500 pounds after they did the Starvation Nation, because they destroyed all their hormones. They destroyed, this is what happens. You go in the starvation thing, your thyroid starts working slower and slower and slower, and then you got to eat less, and then it works slower and slower and slower, to the point where you're basically living on a piece of rice, a piece of lettuce, and some coffee just to get through the day. And everybody's like, well, I'll champion through, I'll just go work out more, and that raises the cortisol even more. So this advice that people, you know, the keyboard warriors are giving you in the comments section is absolute nonsense. I'm getting rid of as much of it as possible because they're just imposters. I know I've said this a few times, but it has gotten to the point where I've actually got people emailing me now asking me to turn the comment section off in my videos. I don't know how I managed to have the craziest people on the planet in my comment section, but it fits very much in line with my personality. It's a table for free. If you want a table, just DM me. I can tell you where it is. You might have a couple days to come get it. So that's what I have to say about that. Just really watch with this advice that people are giving you. People who don't even make videos, who have no idea what it's like to be in these huge bodies. It's probably people who are mad because they failed on dieting and they want you to fail as well. I have no idea. Maybe it's just people who are angry because they're in mommy and daddy's basement still. I have no idea. But it really has gotten out of hand. And then you have people, you know, who it doesn't matter what they eat, they're skinny for life. And that is just not the majority of us. Not the majority. Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to film right now. I was actually gonna go in the park so the sun wasn't blowing me out here. You know, you do have the other end. I'm not even gonna talk about the other end. You know, the other end, like vegetable police. Yeah, he's no better. Matter of fact, you know, when I was talking to Georgie, people with his build are actually worse off when it comes to serious illnesses. They don't fare well, where the people who have a little bit more weight on them actually fare way better as far as living goes than the people who are super skinny. Not that I'm saying you know, to gain weight just for that, but it's something to really think about. Something to really think about. I think I'm just blabbering. I probably wanted to say more than I have, but the distractions have gotten me. Oh man, what a crazy backyard that is. Anyway, comments, questions down below. Like, subscribe. Talk to you in the next video. I'm probably going to keep making videos about this because I'm sure there was more that I wanted to say, but I forgot. Anyway, talk to you in the next one. So Taco Bell right next to a cemetery. It's kind of telling, isn't it? The Taco Bell diet ends you right there. They can actually just take you from the table in there and just, there you go.